what's up everyone? Johnny M here, and this is an unboxing of the GoPro Hero9 Black. There's a sale on GoPro as of today. I think it's good until February 7th at noon, I believe, where you get the camera, a 64GB memory card, an extra battery, and a 1-year subscription to GoPro's cloud service for $350. They also have another deal, which is the swivel clip, the camera, the case, a 32GB card, a floating hand grip for $400, but I already have some of those accessories, so the $350 bundle seemed the better option for me. This is actually in a stark comparison to some of the big box retailers, which are presently selling the camera for full retail, which is $450, and doesn't include any accessories. So given the price tag of this, especially considering that $350 is what I paid for my current GoPro, which is the Hero7 Black, I figured this was a pretty good deal. So as I mentioned before, I have the Hero7 Black, and it's a camera that I really enjoy using. I originally bought this for a few snorkeling trips that I went on in Hawaii in 2019, but I've also been fond of using this for swimming as well as some other types of shots where having a smaller camera would make more sense, especially if I was, doing some walking or if there was something going on outside that I figured this would be useful. I do enjoy this camera a lot. I do like the image quality that's come out of it, but there are a few things that I wish would be a lot better with it. So originally I thought the Hero 8 would address them, but I didn't see as much of a jump to switch into that camera just because one, the lens isn't, on the Hero 8, the lens isn't removable, whereas this is, and knock on wood, I haven't cracked the lens yet, so that wasn't a big concern, but it was always in the back of my mind about it. But probably the biggest thing that I wish that this particular camera did, which the newer ones actually seem to do, have to do with the video recording capabilities. The Hero7 Black does shoot in 4K. It shoots at 30 and 60 frames a second, which both include the hyper smooth stabilization. Stabilization is very important to me, especially because I don't like watching jittery videos, so to have it smooth out is pretty good. And on this camera, it works out very well. The problem is not so much with the stabilization, but when you look at the 4K capabilities, the only options that you can shoot in are considered wide and super view, which for any GoPros is basically, these are wide angle lenses, but when you shoot in those particular ones, the edges sort of warp a little bit, so it gives that fisheye effect, which is not really something that I prefer to watch, and especially if I'm using this as another angle to a video. I'd rather have it be in the linear fashion, which this does shoot in linear, but it's a 2.7K, which again is not so much of an issue because I shoot in 1080p, but again, I do like to shoot in the biggest resolution possible just for future proofing. I've made that mistake a long time ago with some footage where I kind of reduced the resolution as well as the quality, and it's really bitten me since. So yeah, I made a point to shoot in the biggest quality possible. So another selling point of the Hero9 Black, actually there's a lot of selling points, so I'm going to get to them, and that's what's kind of getting me excited. So number one is that the Hero9 Black shoots in 5K, and again, it's more for me around the future proofing, but it also, I believe, will, or I hope at least from my experience, will produce sharper images, or sharper video rather, that will really help with future proofing. The other aspect too is that even at the 4K, I believe it shoots in linear, and I think it does it at 5K as well. I'm hoping that's another case, but again, it really will help streamline those the image look, at least, to be consistent with some of the other cameras that I have. And then the other big thing too is it has a touch screen in the front that also is useful as a vlogging cam. The GoPro with the Hero7 rather, it's still got the LCD screen, which shows basically what mode you're shooting in, the batteries, etc. So to be able to see the shot as I'm framing it kind of prevents me from having to turn the camera and look around and stuff. And again, this is kind of small details or whatever, but the fact that it addresses some of those challenges is really makes an attractive investment. And it's also kind of an ironic investment too, because as I'm going to be testing this camera over the next couple weeks to see if I actually like it, it's going to be kind of a challenge to swim because I do live in the mid-Atlantic region of the US, and the waters are a little too cold to swim. And given the pandemic going on right now, I'm not yet comfortable going to an indoor pool, but I have some other tests that I can run to sort of simulate that. So I'm going to try those as we go through. The other nice thing about the Hero9 Black is that, as you notice here, they have the accessory arms, if you will, which are these things here, which are actually built into the camera itself instead of requiring a case like this, where again, it's another accessory that I have to carry around. It's something else that has to go in the bag. And there's pros and cons to this too. So You know, for example, if I'm using the floaty grip or any type of mount, I can just keep it here and then take the camera out in order to either change the batteries or if I want to do some hand holding, etc. And then put it back in. Whereas with the other one, it's just, you know, I don't even need to worry about this case, which again is also useful for helping me to quickly, you know, change batteries or memory cards as needed. So that's kind of the intro to this. But with that in mind, let's actually go and do the unboxing of the 9 Black. This was what was shipped to me in it. So one of the things is this, I think, was supposed to hold the memory card, which is right here. It's a 64 gigabyte SanDisk memory card, which is one of the things I like that what GoPro's doing is trying to reduce its plastic. But you know, when you look on the website and it says, oh, this memory card is included, it retails for $50. And if they, I'm glad they include it for free, because something like this, in this type of packaging, I don't really think it's worth $50. Actually, the memory cards you can probably get on some other places for less than $20. But the one thing I do like about this is, well, what I would like to have seen with it is that maybe it has micro to regular size adapter. But what I do like about this one in particular is, and you can see it because it's an A2, well, maybe you can see it's an A2 version, which means that if you buy a special reader from SanDisk, I think it costs like $17. This effectively doubles the transfer speeds of the card. I think going from like 90 megs a second to 170, which again, when you're shooting 64 gigabytes of material or content, transferring that off of the SD card onto your computer, having that extra speed is really going to help. So it's nice that they include it. I probably will use it. I have other memory cards that are slightly bigger, but I think this certainly at 4K, this will probably get me about, I would say, an hour and 45 minutes worth of footage. I don't know what's going to be a 5K, but you know, that's for a review later on, so put that on the side there. Comes with a spare battery, which is good. This is a brand new battery, so it's supposed to be a little bit bigger, 30% bigger actually, and thereby making it incompatible with the old batteries. But again, with this one in particular, the new one, I kind of want to go start from scratch anyway, because I've had third-party batteries in the past and with mixed reviews, so they kind of work. The ones I have for the 7 actually work pretty decently. But again, just to try it with the first-party batteries, I think I'd be curious to see if there's any difference in performance as well as this. So, and then here's the main one. Let's take a look. So it's wrapped in plastic here. What I really like about this is that it comes in its own case, which is really cool. I have a case that I use already, but for those who are starting out with GoPros, to have its own case is a really nice accessory as well. Let's rip that open here. Let's open this up. It's a good case too. It feels sturdy. It's you know, rigid, but it's nice. Actually, and this is it. So here's what we have here. We have manuals. Say subscribe to GoPro, which I already did. Instructions for hooking it up. Oh, that's another nice thing about this too, is that supposedly this acts as a webcam, which again is also going to be useful because it reduces the footprint of electronics on my desk, which is always a good thing. And it looks like this looks like the instruction book as well, which, no, this is a whole bunch of warnings and whatnot, so alright, no big deal. Actually, instructions. Now they do say to charge the battery first, which I will, but I do want to unbox it just to, or I'm going to put in just to actually make sure it turns on. So let's take a look here. It's a little bigger and a little heavier, but it's actually not as much as I originally thought. Let me get the battery in first. So we're going to unbox this here. Or on plastic, that's really nice. It's actually got a good feel to it, especially for my hands as well. This is going to be the fun part. I don't supposedly have to push this down. Wow, that's a really tight opening there. Wow, that's really tight to open, but put the battery in here. You know, let's open the memory card anyway. Let's actually see how much storage this will provide. Actually, for all the SD cards I've ever owned in my lifetime, only one has ever cracked. It's always been tight to have it. So what I do is I take a paper clip and just hook it up a little bit like that. Fire the power buttons right here. Okay. That's actually a pretty good screen. It's a pretty big one as well. So we're gonna go through and do the setups here. So we'll do English. Legal stuff will agree. What is this? GPS. I'm gonna keep it off for now. Eventually I do want to try it. The app, I already did that. I guess I have to set up through the app, so let me do that real quick. Alright, so the camera is paired. Wow, that's actually pretty fast. I don't have it on screen here, but it just went through and it did download an update pretty fast, which is good. That's right. As of this recording, which is mid-January, they did just recently come out with a firmware update, which provides support for some new accessories like a remote, a mic adapter, proving hyper smooth at colder temperatures, which would be pretty good. Wireless offloads to GoPro app and live streaming with Max. Here's what it looks like. I'm looking at this 5K. It has something here called linear plus horizon leveling, which is another neat feature too, where basically you can kind of rotate the camera to a certain degree and the horizon is basically going to look level, which is useful as well, especially if you're going over a lot of bumpy terrain. It's going to try to keep it even a smoother image, which is good. So there's a variety of other things I need to look at here as well. But again, it's just an unboxing. Some of the features that come with the camera as well. I really like this case. Anyway, I'm going to charge this battery up. I'm going to charge the other one as well. Play with it, see how much I like it. But again, this is just an unboxing of it. It's just a deal that I found online. GoPro's website, thought it was pretty good. Picked it up. I'm going to see how well it works out. I'm going to do a full review of this probably within the next couple weeks. Probably showing, what I use this for and whatnot. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like. Consider subscribing to be notified when the review is coming. So that's it for now. Take care.